Welcome to EGO NetCast. I am Martin Lindeskog. Hi, Sean, and hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
Hiya.
Hello. Hi. How are you doing?
Me, yeah, I'm beautiful today. Thank you very much, and I'm excited to be on your show.
Great. What's on your mind, Sean?
Right now, I
Yeah.
guess what I'm thinking right now is I just hope we have a lot of fun on this podcast.
Yeah. We will, because Jonathan is here also, so we will have a great fun. So that's the whole thing, and that's what I want to talk about. I could say that straight from that was a question I wanted to have later on, but I do a search on your name. But one of your songs on your new album, Solo, and we'll come back about that, the word solo, because I like that word. You had a song called Music, and it was a mix with Matt Pop. Could you tell about your love for music? Because Jonathan knows when I'm saying that, love for music. It's a reference to Rosalla and her great song there, Love for Music. Yeah?
I love Rosala as well. She's absolutely incredible.
I Love
But
Music is her title of her song, yeah?
Yeah, of course. And this one's just music.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great song. It was originally for the band that I used to be in with my sister, Same Difference, and we actually recorded it as an entry for Melody Festival years ago.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
I know you have some thoughts on that, but yeah, no, it's it was such a good song that when it never got released, unfortunately, because we split the band before
Okay.
our elusive third album. But yeah, I decided to take it for myself as a solo record, and Matt Pop's done an incredible version of it and brought it right up to date. And it's basically a love letter to music itself. The whole song is about my love for music from growing up, and it's a song that's written to say thank you for the music. It almost sounds like an ABBA record now.
Yeah, that's a tribute. That's great.
It's a tribute to music in general, yeah. So it's a very sort of, it's an old song that's been sort of brought up to date, but as a love letter to music, and it's definitely worth checking out if your listeners get a chance.
And then you will now turn out upside down what I was thinking about with my outline and so on. So we'll do it from the end in a way. At the end of your album, you have this, and then you have Human, and you have another one there. It sounds very much as my interest in like electronic music and synth pop. What could you say about that? At the end of your album there, Solo. It's for dance and electronic and synthesizer music.
Yeah, they're kind of like out there on their own, those records, because the Human is obviously a cover by the incredible band The Killers, and the reason why we did it was more for the fans, probably because it's a song that I always do whenever I go out live. It's always a song that I perform, get the crowd singing along, and it became a fan favorite of mine. And my label, Energize Records, which maybe we can speak about a little bit later on, they came to me and said, "Look, we feel like you should be doing this as a record." I said, "Look, you can't cover The Killers. It's such a great song, such a sort of iconic record. You don't try it when you're an artist like me." And they were like, "No, trust me, we'll do a great version. We'll go with it." And originally I said, "Look, I'll do the version, but I don't want it to be on my album because it's setting me up for ridicule. Because of that, you don't do a Killers record." But they were adamant, and they kind of met me halfway, because on this CD version, I do 2 CDs and it actually opens up the second disc. So all the fans that are proper fans of mine that know that that's why I've done the record, that because they've seen me live and everything like that, will understand that that's why it's on the record. But originally it was never going to be released as a digital release, and I was quite surprised that they'd kind of like put it on the end of the album. It was originally "I Want to Stay" was going to be the last song, but they said that they love that version so much, and the people need to hear it. So and at the end of the day, they're my label, and what they say goes. So I'm kind of glad, because it's something for the fans, hopefully. And as you said, it's an electronic kind of record, and it's very sort of old school in its approach. It's kind of suits the fans that I've got. So yeah, I was really happy with how it turned out. And to me, Matt Pop is such an incredible producer, and he kind of works with me so beautifully that it was sort of a match made in heaven if we were going to do a record like that.
Great. And then we will continue on this line, because you talked about the anxiousness and I mean relief that you are published a new album that people have waited for, your true fans. Because I said that in the green room, I didn't know so much about you, Sean. It was Jonathan that said, couldn't Sean be on the show, because we had Rosella here for some time ago. And so why not, I said. And I listened to some of your songs, the summertime. And then when you said about this anxiousness as to release something and do a promo, of course, this is in that way you could be, and radio stations and so on. And we talked in the green room, what could we talk about? Is it any taboo topics and so on? And he said, no, go for it. So then I will say that in parentheses here, as a straight question here, how gay, like in Happy, are you that it's now released, this solo album? And all puns intended. So we will talk about that and follow up soon.
Yeah, I mean, as far as gay being happy is concerned, I'm very, very gay to be releasing this album. But it's, I mean, look, we talk about sexuality. I've got no qualms about it whatsoever. I think what you mentioned in the green room was, I've read online that you're a gay icon, and I spoke to Jonathan about this too, and he kind of disagreed. If I mean, Jonathan, you might want to say something.
Yeah, jump in now, Jonathan.
But I have no worries in being called that whatsoever. It's incredible to me that. But as I said, I think something that I said in the green room was, I'm no Kylie Minogue. I mean, I know she's a huge gay fan base all over the world, and that certainly is the case. But I'm overjoyed fact that I've got a big following in the LGBT community. So that's so important to me. They were always fans of me all the way through the Same Difference days. And I'm so thankful that they followed on to today.
And that's what I say, that I'm, as I said in the green room also, I'm for individual rights, not special rights. But it's interesting when you search and what kind of search results you find. And then you were on different lists, as you said, LBGs, and also music blog posts and other things. And I did an introspection when I saw a picture of you on the summertime. Trained in a beach and so on, and also very blonde hair. I had that back in the day when I was listening to synth music. I was blonde as beginning. No, I don't have so much hair, but then I'm more grayish. But then I even made it even blonder and whiter. And now you have. Is it that your natural color, black hair?
Yeah, I've got like kind of dark. My natural color was sort of dark brown.
Yeah,
but I always felt with the hair color, it was a deliberate decision, because I kind of I wanted to come out with some new look, because I'd always been in the band with my sister, and she was always blonde, and I kind of felt like it was, I was always dark, she was always blonde. It was and I just felt, and I was always kind of seen as this kind of cheesy thing. It was, I don't know whether you have it so much in Sweden, but the High School Musical thing, that the big American Disney thing was sort of huge when we were on the TV. And so I was always kind of put into that sort of box and bracket. And I was very keen to kind of break out of that. And so, I ended up training a lot. I put on a lot of muscle, and kind of did the blonde hair thing, and it kind of just brought some excitement to getting released as stuff solo here in the UK. And I ended up sort of getting on sort of big sort of primetime TV sort of things, all because of this sort of new look. So I was very sort of thankful that worked for me in the end.
Yeah. So what's your look now? I mean, both, physically and also inside. And please tell a bit about your long, impressive biographic, your, as you said, love for music, but also theater and so on. Could you give the listeners a bit of background there?
Yeah, certainly. Well, at the moment, honestly and truly, I'm back to my natural color. So that was quite what started to happen. Believe it or not, was like I don't know whether you had this when you were younger, but I dyed it so much that my hair was like getting thin, and I thought I can't do this anymore. It was just so much upkeep, so I ended up thinking, right, I'm going to go back to my natural and just start again. And at the moment, it's all grown out. Which is, I feel a bit more myself maybe, but I feel like a lot of the fans really liked me as a blonde and wouldn't mind me going back. But yeah, going towards, because obviously the coronavirus has been such a big thing at the moment, and talking about keeping the body up together. It's been a lot tougher because all the gyms have been closed. So, it's something that once you've done it, people expect you to always have that body. And I just want to say to everybody, it's not easy to keep up, and especially when you've not got all the gym facilities. So at the moment, I'm kind of, it's not a let go. I'm kind of definitely keeping my hand in and watching what I'm eating and stuff and training as much as I can from home. But it's certainly not the same as it was there, which is a huge shame because I did love having that body.
Go back to the gym on Saturday. They reopened.
Yeah, I know. No excuses anymore. People I'm gonna have to get down the gym definitely and start eating, more meat and proteins and all this kind of stuff to sort of get big again. Because I think now the fans have come to expect it of me, so I've kind of made it difficult for myself. But oh my word, yeah. Talking about what you were saying about my biog, yeah. I've been really lucky in my career, no question. And it started way back when I was sort of only 7 years old, and I was doing theatre stuff, and it's kind of just grown from there. Really, I've been in the tours of We Will Rock You, which I'm not sure whether you have in Sweden, but it's all the music of Queen.
Yeah,
and,
I have a good friend, Bengt Åke, and he's a big fan of Queen. So I listen. I mean, I listen much of electronic music, but I listen to all kind of music, and Queen, and especially, of course, the singer there. He had, so how to say, big repertoire from everything
Freddie
from
Mercury,
opera.
you mean?
Yeah, Freddie Mercury. Yeah, everything from opera to rock to, and this melodic thing. So I mean, yeah, it's great. So that's interesting to hear. And so please continue. And you have to tell about your interest there in theater also, and pantomime. So yeah.
Yeah, so in the UK we have a huge thing that happens every Christmas. It's more of a kind of like a tongue in cheek kind of thing that we do in the UK, but we all kind of congregate to sort of watch a sort of fairy story happen in front of our eyes in the theatre. And it's all very, it's some fun and games for the kids. There's a comedian. There's always like an old school love story that runs through it. It's usually Jack and the Beanstalk or Cinderella, but it's an all singing, all dancing affair, and it's kind of like a tradition that we have here. I mean, what would you call Panto, Jonathan? It is like a bit of a tradition we have here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would you say? Yeah,
I've done Panto myself a long time ago as well.
Yeah.
Pantomime theatre, yeah.
I don't think there's any other term for it. I think it is just panto,
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, I know that it's something that doesn't happen all over Europe, and a lot of the rest of the world don't really get it. It's something that's very sort of typically British, I guess. But I've been lucky enough to probably do about 12 in my day, and always sort of like playing the sort of leading man type character, which is a hell of a lot of fun, and I always find it really makes the Christmas time special here in the UK. And it's a huge shame at the moment, obviously, because of coronavirus. It looks as if a lot of them aren't going to be going ahead. They're going to be making decisions soon. But I've always been doing those all the time growing up, and always been involved in the theatre. And again, I have to say how sad it is that at the moment the sort of bottom's falling out of the theatre world because of the coronavirus. And I'm praying that we can get back to it very soon, because it feels like something's missing. Is it the same for you, Jonathan, as well? Like, where you feel like you just can't wait to get back on stage again?
Yeah, it's been I mean, I'd been wanting to do my show reel, get that sort of like renewed before the virus locked everybody down and everything, and the script had been sorted, and we're just picking locations to go and shoot. So as soon as we get the green light that we're no longer social distancing, I'll be going to shoot that scene for my show reel.
Incredible. Yeah, that's it's kind of how I am. Like, you look at it and think, well, what can we do to maximize, this, make something out of this bad situation? And thinking about getting a show reel up together for when things come, it's a great time to turn all that around. And the same with me. It's like, I feel really sad that we didn't get to do a video for summertime. It lends itself to that, and we never got the chance to shoot one, but. You never know. Once things get up and going, we get the green light. It might end up happening. We'll have to wait and see.
Mm.
Yeah,
We have to be.
I was speaking to my agent. I think it was a few weeks ago, and she was sort of like saying that despite me wanting to like update my show reel, I could still potentially do things at the minute because they're doing like castings where you can social distance on the set and things like that, and do some forms of self-tape and all that. But I'm not really into doing the self-tape type thing because I don't really feel like I have the equipment to do it, and I don't feel I do it right. So I need somebody there to actually set it all up for me and actually just see me do my thing.
Yeah. It's definitely best to be pro when you're dealing with stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely. So maybe we could reach out to listeners out there and spread the good word for Jonathan, so he could start getting to this scene and stage again. So, yeah, because
how are things
you have
in Sweden at the moment with the coronavirus? Is everything all good?
Yeah, that's a story of its own. But as I said in the green room, also I'm for freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and also freedom of movement, but also to be on the safe side. But in a way, Sweden has taken a different way of doing it, and in a way, I agree with that. I don't believe in how to say that you become a prisoner, or you have to be safe and sorry. But to close everything down without having how would I say, a plan, or don't know the effects on it, it's a bit strange. But then in Sweden's case, it had been very random in different ways. First, it was certain numbers of when you could go to event, and then they decreased that, but it haven't been total lockdown with which I think is a good thing. That said, I have been very much home and on distance, and when I have a meeting, I take either cab or get picked up, and I meet only in a safe way. I don't do on public transportation or something like that. But we are free to walk around or doing something like that. And in a way, I think that's a better solution. But we will wait and see. And that's what I see. I want to focus on the positive things. But you see, I mean, the tension between countries and leaders pointing fingers at each other and so on. But what I think we should do is to learn from this and also see where it came from and have it happened before in the history, and how could we prevent it for the future, and what do we learn from this, and this kind of thing. So I recently listened to a webinar on from The Economist, the editor there, and they had lots of interesting views about that and what we learn from it, and how we could plan for the future. So I think, but for example, as we talked about with all the concerts and events and so on, that's not much of that. So, and that's of course pity and sad, but you could do it in different ways. And you have that one support things that you have done together with your blonde sister. You have done a song there. Could you tell a bit about that?
Oh yeah! Wow, I can't believe you know about that. Absolutely.
No, that's Jonathan's thanks. But I then saw it in your stream, because we are friends now on Facebook. So I saw that and liked it. So yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, yeah. Basically, obviously, I'm sure you know over in Sweden that we have a national health service that is. I think it's something that I think you'll probably agree, Jonathan. It's something we're very proud of here in the whole, isn't it? And I think it's something that we take as a national treasure. Would you say, Jonathan?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Working for the NHS and everything. It's it's got. Yeah, I think in the UK people do take it quite seriously, and it is a thing because. Sorry, excuse me. There has been quite a few events as well recently where people have like got together and done like virtual like lockdown festival gigs and stuff that raise money for like lots of NHS charities and child bereavement and that sort of thing as well. And it's amazing what can actually be done to say we're in the situation that we're actually in. Yeah.
I think the big thing is obviously there's a lot of pressure on our NHS at the moment because of the coronavirus, and the government, it's always been a big thing in our country where the government doesn't necessarily always give. I mean, I don't know. I don't like being politics, but talking about politics too much. But it seems that they're underfunded with certain things at times, and it seems like the whole of the UK want to keep the NHS alive and love the structure of it and the way it works for us. So, what's happening at the moment with all the pressure they're under is my sister and I have decided to when it's been probably 2014 we split the band, but we've decided because we're brother and sister that we're going to come together for a one-off record to make some money for the NHS, and every penny made from the single will go to that to make sure that there's been obviously a lot of deaths and stuff happening here in the UK. I don't want to get morbid, but we want to make sure that there's prevention, make sure everything's as safe as it possibly can be here in the UK. So we felt like it was a very important charity to donate to, and we decided to do it through inspiration and write this song that was written by our long-term school teacher and mentor, and rewrite it to give as much as we can to the charity.
That's great. Then I will do this segment about this searching, because as I said, when I had Rosalla on the show, I knew her, I listened to her music for a long time. But with you, Sean, it was like an open book and canvas. And when I saw your impressive bio and all the shows you have been in and so on, but you have a pretty common name, Smith. So Mr. Smith, so Sean. So when I searched first on that, I got lots of results. But when I did, because you have done a clever thing here, you have a domain name, seansmithsolo.com. You are not solo, I understand, but I like the word. We will talk about to be a solo, to be an individual, to be alone in a way, but in a positive way. But you have in a way covered that pretty well. So when I searched for Sean Smith solo album, I got 207,000 results. And when I saw your first hit there, it was your own site, Sean Smith SeanSmithSolo.com, and then the Energize Records that you're on, and then also a Wikipedia on Turn Me On, the song, and then a YouTube advert for your album that's now out, and then your Twitter handle, Sean Smith Solo.
Yeah.
So you're active there, and that's how we Jonathan connected. He reached out to me when after I have shared that I've listened to one of Rosalla's songs. So he contacted me there on Twitter. So, and also then on Instagram and so on. So there also your
Great
Facebook,
stuff.
Energize, the record label, and then your own solo, and then Amazon Music. So that's interesting. Have you had any thoughts about that? How long have you planned this album, and also this to include the word solo in your name or artist name?
Well, I have to say, actually, it was way back when we decided to call it solo. I mean, we never actually released the news till probably like about a month ago when we knew that the album was coming. But it's always been on our mind because the word says so much. Because I was originally in the duo, Same Difference, and so going solo, it just said everything that needed to be said from that, and also it rolls off the tongue relatively easily, so it's got a good hook point for anybody who's interested. And as you said, it's a very, very common name. I think apart from maybe John Smith in the UK, it's probably up there. Maybe the only one that's less popular. That's more, the only one that's more sort of common here in the UK. So. I had to do something that was going to make me stand out. And I have to say all credit has to go to my old management team, actually, Raw Lion, because they were the ones who said, look, we thought about that. It says everything so perfectly. Let's book that domain name. And they kind of run with that. And I have to say, massive thanks to them really for coming up with that, because it is something that has really stuck with me. And it's something that makes me instantly recognizable.
Yeah. That's great. So I think you should have good applause there for doing this and to be found out and searched when you search for things. And as Jonathan said also when we talked about in the green room about your development and your career, is that also why you picked the name, as you said, to go solo in a way, but also to have cooperation and with others, but you're doing your thing, so to speak. Could you reflect a bit about that also?
What do you mean, like doing my thing now?
Like a solo artist, instead of being in a band, but also cooperate with other artists and so on, and also doing mixes.
Yeah, well, there's been lots of stuff happening because I mean, I wanted to collaborate with other artists. It's something that always has felt very, very natural to me, purely because obviously I've always been working with my sister. So when some people came forward to me and said, they might want to collaborate with me for the album or maybe even doing a single, it felt so unbelievably natural. I was always a bit iffy about doing it with another female artist because I don't want my sister and bandmate to feel like she's been pushed out. But so eventually, at first, it was Peter Wilson. We did a cover of a great track called Verona, and that's done well in lots of countries all over the world. And then Ben Davidson, who's another artist with Energized Records and with the same management as me, came to me with a fantastic song called Dirty Mirrors. And to be honest, when I first spoke to him, I wanted the song for myself, but it lent itself so much to being to be in a duet that we ended up putting that down together and had so much fun in the studio doing that, and that's come out really, really well as well. So it's all been very smooth so far, being solo from being in the duet. But at first, it was very, very difficult to get my head around the fact that it's me that I'm putting forward now, and anything that you do put out, there's going to be a reflection of you. So you've got to make sure that it's exactly the way that you want it, and a very fair reflection of who you are as a person and artist.
Yeah, and that's one when I did alternative search on DuckDuckGo. One hits there results that stick out were an interview there on Phoenix 98.fm, and it Spencer Carter. I will listen to that later on and so on, but it seemed to be a nice interview and conversation. And when you talk about your album and so on, so could you fill in a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Phoenix FM. Huge thanks has to go to Jonathan, really, because he's promoting everything for Energized Records, and he's managed to get me some awesome stuff to chat to some really great people and to get the album out there as much as we can. So all thanks for that, Jonathan.
All right.
Yeah. So Jonathan, please tell how do you do? I know how you reach out to me, but do you want to tell a bit about that, or is it a secret?
The interview you did Phoenix with Baz. Oh my God, that guy is hilarious. It's so funny. I love him. He's awesome.
That's great. So could you tell Sean a bit about the album Solo? Because it's plenty of tracks there, but I understand as a newcomer to your music, it's have been over time, and you have done singles, you have done collaboration, as you said, and also thought about this for a long time. So I talked about the end of your album with, as you said, Dirty Mirrors, Verona, Human, and also the music. But you could start from the start if you want, and also the Summertime, that was the single that I listened to first.
But yeah, I think pretty much every song on the album's got a story in itself. I'm kind of trying to get the album up now so we can, if I've got any interesting stories. Well, Magic is the first song on the album. It's the one that I talked to you about when I did promotion on a big TV show here in the UK, and it kind of sort of got me back out there in a big way. That was when I had the blonde hair, and the music video was out there, and a really good friend of mine was happy to be in that shoot with me as sort of the love interest. So we had a really good video shoot for that. That's definitely worth checking out. Falling is Niall Outstead. He's Icelandic, a lovely guy, and that's a fantastic track. It originally was, all of these songs kind of came to me in a certain way of a demo, and we just had to kind of work it as we went, and take what is great about the original song, but then really make it work for me. And I've been so pedantic working with all of the guys that I've been lucky to work with that have helped me produce this album, because they really get my vision, and I love the way that they work too. So it always helps when you've got that sort of collaborative effort. For You, that was originally it kind of sounded a little bit old school. I think the demo was quite old, and we had to sort of bring it right up to date, but I was really happy with how that turned out. But I mean, we could go through all of them. It's Summertime.
Please do.
Got a great story, because I was out in Miami doing rehearsals for We Will Rock You at the time, and it just so happened that Andy Sikorsky actually lived out in Miami, and he was like, "Look, come around and let's collaborate on a record." And I think it was incredible. We got that whole song done in a day, and then when it finally came back, it was clear that it was good enough to sort of push the album as a single. So. And it really worked, because obviously it's such beautiful weather out in Miami, and it's such a cool place to be, that everything came really, really naturally with that record. But I should talk about Hazard. The reason I say that is because it's a Richard Marx cover version. It's one of the only covers on the album. Obviously, the only other one is Human, which you've already discussed. But that was never meant to be on the album. So really, this was going to be the only cover. And Hazard was really an interesting one, because Energize heard it on the radio and just came to me and said, "Look, we really think you should do a cover." And at first I wasn't too sure, but then I listened to it and I thought, my goodness, because here in UK, we all watch Netflix a hell of a lot. And there's a lot of kind of murder programs on there that people were getting really excited about. So it kind of made sense.
And I'm a soft person there, so I get scared about this
Do you?
story. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, my girlfriend, she absolutely loves all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why.
But she doesn't seem creepy. She seems to be a nice person. I'm joking now. Probably something creepy with me that I don't understand these murder histories.
Maybe,
but yeah, I like Hitchcock.
Maybe she's looking. Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's honestly, I sometimes watch it and think, why does she love this so much? Is she looking for a reason to get rid of me or something?
No, I don't think so.
No, she's. I like to think she loves me too much for that. But no, we got into the thing of kind of watching that kind of stuff on Netflix, and when I listened to the song and I realised that it was about, this guy that was always misunderstood, and as soon as his friend winded up dead, they all fingers started pointing to him, and the lyrics were like haunting. It sends shivers down your spine, and I thought, wow, it kind of really is in keeping with the kind of stuff that everyone's watching. It's very, very current, and I thought, what a great idea by Energize to do a cover of that. And I'm really, really pleased with the way it turned out. Dan Scholes from DSM Music did the remix for me, and I think it's ended up being a fan favorite.
Great. And for the record, then I would say I watch, but that's very, I mean, not in a way humorous. But have you watched the TV series Murder in Paradise, the BBC
Rings a
one?
bell.
Yeah,
Rings a bell. I don't
it's
think.
been
Yeah.
season 9 or something like now. So they are in a Guadeloupe or something like that. It's a nice island beaches, and there you have been a different police officer from England in a couple of seasons, and he came to there and should help them out, and then it's all kind of things. But it's like a relaxed, laid back thing. They do partying, they have fun. Then of course it is murder, but it's more like an old school, and you don't see the old, the blood and so on. But it's like a murder mystery in a how to say, the old ways of Miami Vice that you talked about, Miami, for example. This kind of
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's quite tongue in cheek. I've not seen it myself, but I've seen like snippets, and I think Ardlo Hanlon's in it, the guy who used to be in Father Ted.
Correct. Yeah.
Derek Jacobi. I think it's Derek Jacobi in it as well.
Yep, I think so. Yeah. So it's totally my style, because I'm, as I said, American in spirit, but I'm also an Anglophile. But also this paradise and summer and the beaches, and I mean they have a good time. But of course it is crimes, it is murders, but yeah, it's so obvious that so I like that kind of style, and also to plug for a new podcast that I have, Hot and Spicy Review, because I'm a chili head, so I like hot and spicy food and hot sauces. Then I said to my the person, Jim Johnson of J Tunes Productions, he's making jingles for podcast, and also if you have like a song for life, you could say, like a melody. And I said then inspiration was this Murder in Paradise, and this how to say. Beach or island music like Hawaii or South music, like with how to say, these oil drums,
tropical.
Tropical.
Yeah.
Thank you. These kind of things. So he did a jingle of that I will, in the next episode of Hot and Spicy Review, I will talk about that and my inspiration of his TV series and so on. So now we'll do a side track here. Do you like hot and spicy food, Sean?
Oh, but I you're not gonna like me. I'm not a huge fan. I do like it. It's like, for example, I love Nando's. I'll always go for kind of somewhere in between. I don't want to go for the sort of lemon and herb, but at the same time, I don't want to go for the super hot. I like to I like to be able to taste the spice, but
of course,
but not have my mouth burning so much that everything else feels like you can't taste it, and my nose is running and I'm sweating. So I'm somewhere in between.
How about you, Jonathan? Do you like hot sauces?
More or less the same. I like things probably at level 3. If it's any more than that, then no. And like, for example, today I was at work, and my lunch, I'd got one of these like Tesco's own brand noodle dish things, but it was firecracker. When we bought it, you can see on the packaging online, when you do the online shop, how many chilies it's got on it. It had 5 chilies on it, so I was like sat at my desk, like my mouth off. It was horrible.
Do you know the recipes? What you should do then, Jonathan, if it's too hot, so to speak?
You're meant to drink milk rather than water, because the milk calms it down. Yeah.
Yep. Correct. Or the Indian lassi, or yogurt, or white bread.
Yogurt, yeah.
So back to the album, Sean.
Oh, you're making my mouth water now. I haven't had my tea yet.
That's good. And that's good. We should talk about tea also, because that's an important thing. Do you drink tea, Sean?
that is important.
I have a podcast. I have 2 podcasts about tea, one in Swedish and one in English. So for me, it's and I've written a book about tea also. So
Oh wow!
Tell you about your tea interest.
I kind of live off the stuff. It's crazy. I don't know about you, Jonathan, but for me, I'm like, honestly, I'm at least 10 cups a day, and usually like not just a small cup either. I've got like my own mug that's huge, and it's kind of like, I drink so much of it, but everyone's wants it a certain way. My dad, whenever I make tea for him, he always says, this is awful. You got way too much milk in it, and it's not strong enough. But for me, it's just like if he makes it, it's too strong, and it's like
it's
it
like
leaves an
builder's tea.
aftertaste.
He'd
Yeah,
like
I don't have
Yorkshire tea.
sugar. Yeah, but like one as I said, because of the training and stuff, I think if you have too much sugar, it's really not good for you. So I try to sort of limit it. But growing up, I always had sugar in my tea, but now I don't do it. But what do you make of this thing? Because you said about kind of, you felt that you've got an affiliation with America, but there was this TikTok thing recently, wasn't there, where this girl was showing how to make a cup of English tea, and it was like
I've seen
here
that,
in the
and
UK.
it got me so I don't I understand it's a joke, but I don't already have words for it. But it's pretty.
It is ridiculous. She's like putting water in the microwave, and it's just. I mean, it's one way to make a cup of tea, but it's certainly not the correct way, from my opinion.
No. I have with an American artist and fine artist and editorial cartoonist. He's illustrated my first book. It's like a children's book, you could say, but for grown-ups interested in tea. And we have a spread there with the perfect cuppa. And about that you should have leaves and you should boil it for a certain way and have a tea a kettle and so on, and also teapot. So soon it will become emoji, the emojis that you can have on your smartphone and so on.
Great. That sounds so cool.
With the teapot. So that's great. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, it's I certainly don't go that far. I just use your standard tea bag and just just make it as it comes, I guess. But as I say, I think it's one thing that's again very very British, is drinking a lot of tea like that.
Great. So joke with you now, Sean. I give you some ideas for future songs here. I'm all for that. So tea and spicy food. Maybe that could be a good combo.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get that lyric in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Sean, sorry, I was just going to say, Sean, do you sort of like drink any fruit teas or anything like that?
Do you know, when I went to China, because I did a tour out in China for a while, and I got really into fruit tea. Yeah, they have it there, because really it was like impossible out there to get a good English cuppa. And the worst thing was that obviously the language barrier is so different. Like none of the words are anywhere near, and I couldn't speak Mandarin at all, so it was really tough to kind of order anything. So I'd kind of just point. And I'd point at the tea, wanting an English tea, but obviously they just give me whatever came. But while I was out there, I had some really nice tea, actually. Yeah. So that's one thing that I'd take away from China was just all the different types of tea that I had all the time. It was really interesting, But there was nothing like coming home and just making it my own way.
Something. What you say about like the making it your own way and things like that. When we were on the podcast last time with Rosala, out of all the teas I thought she'd go for, she actually preferred to have a builder's breakfast tea. I was like, really? I wasn't going to say that. I was like, just like, yeah. So, I was talking last night as well to our friend Sarah, who interviewed you the other day, and she has got this thing with matcha tea. Now she sent me this message about, do I know anything how to sort of like make sort of like matcha tea, because I've never had it, I've never drunk it, and I said that I'd bring it up on the show today because I knew we'd be talking about tea. So I don't know, Martin, whether you know anything about how to sort of like prepare matcha tea.
Yeah, that's a matcha tea, the green powder tea from Japan. You mean? Yeah. And that's the monks and so on have done that for a long time in Japan. So it's the tea ceremony that they have. So they grind the tea leaves in a certain way. So you digest or consume the whole leaf in powder form. So you take a small like a teaspoon, or they have a special tool
I've seen
for that.
It's like a little wooden tool, isn't it? Yeah.
And then you put it in the water, and then you have a whisk that a brush that you do a certain pattern, And then you also, if you have, I have never been on this tea ceremony in Japan, but I will someday. But then you also do it with the hands and how you turn the bowl also. But what it is, it's very, I mean, green in a way, special acquired taste. But if you have a good quality, and on our Swedish podcast, we interviewed two entrepreneurs and they have a brand called Fillin Matcha. And he had been in Japan as a young child and then got contact with the tea farmer there in Japan. And we tested that tea and it was very smooth because Japan has most of the tea they consume it themselves. So when they export, it's depending on what kind of grade you get. But it's very, I mean, it's healthy. They have done studies on this, and it's a special way of drinking it, and you get a kick of it, and also like this calm at the same time. And it's been very popular, as you said, in Asia to put it in other things like in ice cream or sorbet or in candy or chocolate and this kind of thing, because it gets this
very refreshing
and also this color, green color. So so I will send you some tips on how you could prepare it, Jonathan. And as I said, are you on Instagram, Jonathan?
I am on Instagram. I very rarely use it, but I am on it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because then I look forward to see a picture of you, selfie, drinking matcha tea after my instructions. So that's great that
it's got to be like a ceremony.
Exploring new stuff. Yeah. So now back to the program. Now we have listened to the food and beverage podcast, and now it's back to this episode with Sean, and he's going through the list of songs of the new album Solo. So please continue, Sean, and thanks again for your input there, Jonathan. I appreciate very much that you thought about my tea interest there. I love it.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, I can carry on going through. The next one on the list was All or Nothing. Again, they're so different, the demo compared to the finalized version. It was very kind of like 90s boy bands type vibe, the original demo that got sent to us.
Should we have a debate about that? I mean, boy bands.
No, oh God, we don't have to.
Because, or are you a new kid on the block, right?
No, not me. I was in boy bands when I was a kid, and we had so much fun. And obviously, you can imagine like a group of lads going around together and doing different gigs and thinking you're a superstar. It can be a hell of a lot of fun. But I'm glad that I ended up with my career going the way that it did. But the song's very much like that. It's kind of like it felt a little bit old school, really, and we did a lot with it and turned it into this kind of like really chilled, slow, like heavy drums in the second verse. And it seems to have been again one that people have said that they really, really like. And some of the lyrics got rewritten as well. So yeah, from the original demo to the final one, it completely changed, and I think really, really happy with how it ended up. We could talk about boy bands another time.
Yeah, we will do that.
Because it's gonna get mad. But otherwise
I will talk about girl bands like Spice Girls because they are spicy.
Absolutely.
Are they still around? Show. Are they still around?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're huge. I mean, we absolutely adore them here in the UK. I think, but a lot of people, it's and for me, they basically defined the 90s. You know, I still love them to this day, and I sort of grew up like adoring the Spice Girls. I think most people did, didn't they, Jonathan, back in the day? Still do.
I like two of their records, and that's all I actually like, to be honest.
I've got a friend that will hate you for saying that.
One of the, it's not Rylan, is it?
No.
He would. The two songs that I actually like, one of them is one of the really popular ones that they did, and they did it for, I think it was Comic Relief or something as well. Was it Who Do You Think You Are?
Yeah, great song. Great song.
Yeah,
That was their sort of like famous one from the Brits, wasn't it? Do you remember when she was wearing her gorgeous set? Yeah.
Yeah, they had, was it Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders played the other the characters, in Kathy Burke or something, I think it was, in the video.
Yeah. Crazy, wasn't it?
So there was that one, and then the other one was it was a bit later on. Was it called Holler?
Oh yeah, another great tune. Yeah.
They're the only
See,
two
I
that
loved all their stuff. I was sort of like bit of a Spice Boy, I guess. But growing up, but it's mad, like all the different. I love so much different music, and I've always just been a lover of music, I think. But yeah, those two definitely great tracks for me, anyway.
Mm-hmm. And talking about that, if you had to put a label on your music style, Sean, what would that be? Because now we understand that you have a rich background and you have done lots of different things. But right now,
it's so
what would
tough
the
because
label be?
I don't really know. I guess it's pop. I
Because
think it's
the pop. So if Rosalla is Queen of Rave, what are you? What's your label?
It's definitely pop music. I certainly wouldn't call myself the king of pop. that would be so facetious. It's unbelievable. But because there's so many that have tried to claim that title, and I think you have to be the best of the best. But let me tell you, I don't know. To me, it's different records have got slightly different flavors. I like to think that I've kind of developed something that's going to be quite just true to myself. But I've always been a pop artist. And when I was with Sarah, so I don't think that it's changed. It's still pop records, as you said. There's electronic vibe in some of it. There's sort of like almost an R&B style in one of the tracks. There's that moves me on.
The summer song. What would you say about that? That was the first one that I listened to.
I've forgotten what they call that, but there was
Summertime.
a time when there was a time when kind of Justin Bieber was doing like his stuff with like chain smokers. I can't remember what they call it, but that was the
who is Justin Bieber?
No, but yeah, that.
Jonathan,
that
you have to tweet this. We will see what will happen.
But that's, I guess, where that sort of song sort of derived from, because that was huge at the time. When his sort of like album came out that had like Sorry on it, I think it's called Deluxe or something. It's something like that. I can't remember. Do you know what that was called, Jonathan? Can you remember? Was it Deluxe? I think it was. But this album was huge. You couldn't get away from it, and it was just played everywhere you went. And that was such a sort of big style at the time that Andy Sikorsky was kind of showing an interest in making that kind of music, and it kind of derived from there, really, I guess. But I don't know what they call it. I think it's like they call it something. Oh man, I should really know this stuff. If I'm doing a record that's in that style, I should really know. But I like to sort of think that I've just kind of just taken it and just rolled with it and just done my own thing. I wouldn't want to put any tags on this album. I just think it is the album that I always set out to make when I was a young boy, and it's kind of come together exactly as I'd always hoped and I'd always planned.
That's great. And how could we spread the good word about it? And of course, you have to wrap up with if you have missed any songs, because it's in total is 19 or.
Well, no, I think there's 23 tracks on the two-disc album, but there's.
So on Apple Music, I saw because I did it right before we started recording, because you released it July 20th, right?
Yeah, it's only just come out. I think it was Sunday.
So So is it a special when you said over 20 songs? Is it like a special edition or the vinyl, or do they do different things on Spotify and Apple? Or so do you know about that, Jonathan? I mean, you are the rep here for the record label and things, so you have to inform us. How does it work?
Say that again, sorry.
Yeah, I think when I added that to my Apple Music account, I think it was 19 songs on the solo album. But now Sean says it's over 20. So where do I find the other songs?
Do you want me to answer for it? Basically,
Is it like I was going to say on certain platforms and things like that, you sometimes get like extra tracks, and I know some of the tracks are like remixes and things like that. So I'm not.
Yeah.
So basically, the CD has got 23 tracks over two.
Okay.
So that's a 2-disc album, and that's available direct from Energize.
That's great.
But I'm seeing now on Spotify and Apple Music, I think there's 16 tracks but it was only supposed to be 13 right up to I Want to Stay, and then Human, the Verona Matt Pop extended mix, and the Fire Project K extended mix. They were all added to the album for the digital release. So as far as I can see, up to I Want to Stay, which is 13 tracks, is disc 1, which I imagine to be the actual album itself, and then the other 3 are like bonus tracks. So Human, Verona, and Fire. They're bonus tracks that you can also that are also added to the to be able to stream. So because I think that the label thought that they were really good records. So I think we pretty much talked about most of the records. To be honest, there's one, Never Gonna Change, which I actually wrote myself when I was in We Will Rock You with my good friend who played Khashoggi. We wrote that one together because we just used to kind of like have a few drinks and just jam together, and I think we cooked up a sort of pop gem in that record. And my friend Lynette, she did all the some of the female that you can hear on the record is her, and she played the Killer Queen, which is one of the major roles with me in that. So and she's absolutely fantastic. So I was really happy with how that record turned out. But I'm looking through now, and I think we've pretty much talked about all of the songs. I've not gone into this much detail on any interview. So I really hope that people go and check them out so they know exactly what it is that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's great. And where could the listeners find your music and other stuff about you, Sean?
I guess if the listeners go to SeanSmithSolo.com, I almost said same difference then. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind.
It's
that was years
how do you
ago.
say? It's same but different, right?
That was like our little cheesy slogan that we used to have.
I like it.
But no, it's SeanSmithSolo.com, and if you pretty much go there, you'll see you'll be able to pre-order the CD. I should say there was a limited edition vinyl, like a clear vinyl, that was it's unfortunately sold out now, so I shouldn't really promote it. But
but it's good. Maybe you could do some another edition later on if you have fans asking for it, right?
Well, maybe. I mean, watch this space. But I think that's the point of doing something limited, is that
I know.
There's something that they're lucky. Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah, sorry, I'm losing it now. I'm sorry. I even called myself Same Difference. That was years ago. Oh my God.
It's all good.
No, it's all on there. Sean Smith Solo. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And Spotify page is out there too, and you can listen to the records right now. So thanks for letting me get that one in, buddy.
That's great, and of course check out Energize Records there for other artists, and also that you could buy, as I said, the limited things and the vinyls and things like that. Or you also, because I know Energy Records, I have added that to my Bandcamp profile, so there you could also find stuff. So I like how you could find new songs and new music in different ways. So it's interesting to hear about the opportunities there. So, Jonathan, do you have anything to add or to comment on this conversation? Anything is on your mind?
Not really. No, I think Sean's more or less summed everything up, and I think we're all out of words. Really, I don't think there's much more to say. Other than sort of, again, thank you for the opportunity to take the time out to interview him as well. Really appreciate it.
That's great. So thank you very much for that. And now, as we talked in the green room, are you ready for this, Sean? To do
here we go, the exciting part.
Call to action. Yeah. So if you like this kind of conversation, and I'm interested to hear your constructive feedback in different ways, everything from tea to chili to the gay happy thing and whatnot, then you could go to my PayPal account there and do hit the tip jar or do a donation. So that's paypal.me/Lindeskog. But then I asked Sean if he was up for it to say it in his lovely voice here, like a singer and true artist. So go for it, Sean.
Is it Lindeskog? Is that right?
Correct.
So if you want to make a small donation, then you need to go to PayPal. Is that am I saying it right?
PayPal.me, correct.
So
/
PayPal.me/Lindeskog.
Correct.
Is that right? Yes. Come on. I was worried about that.
Great.
I think I got it right.
I got it right. Did. Thank you. Thank you much for the plug. Yeah. Appreciate
anytime, buddy. I hope it makes some money for you.
Because then I could buy some music. So that's great. So
yeah.
At Energy Records or something like that. Yeah. Correctly. Go you directly. So anything you want to add and the thing here, Sean?
No, I really think I'm truly happy with that. I think we've covered so much stuff. It's been really interesting to go to talk about so much. I didn't expect to be honest with you. So thank you so much for making this an interesting chat. And I'm sorry if I've talked way too much. I feel Jonathan's
you didn't.
not got to speak very much because I've just non-stop talked. But we've had fun.
I don't like to interrupt.
That's good. That's all good. So thanks again for your time. I will say
one thing, Sure, sorry.
Yeah, please.
I was just going to say, when you were talking about the singles on the album and everything, my favourite one's Do or Die. That's my favourite one.
Oh, really? That's funny. That's so funny because, we never really mentioned that one. But,
so great.
I'm so glad that you got
now
that
we
in
have
there.
to dig into that. So why is that your favourite, Jonathan? Because you want to do something, you don't want to die, right?
Well, I guess so.
What is it about the song, Jonathan? And then we'll hear Sean's version also. So please tell.
There's like a message behind the lyrics that is quite meaningful, and I quite like the vibe of the actual sound of the record as well. And plus I like the story with the video as well. And it's that song stands out for me on the album, along with Verona, which Dawn spoke about as well earlier on. They're my two favourite tracks.
Correct. And when I saw the title, I was thinking of the state where I was living in United States of America when I was studying, New Hampshire, and their motto is "Live free or die," and that's what we have to think about, to live free. As you know, Rosalla has a great song with that also. So everybody's free. So, Sean, what do you say about that song?
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love that record. I think, again, from where it started, the original demo that we had, it was very sort of old school, but it had a lot of energy, and we loved that about it. And we didn't want to lose that energy, but we wanted to sort of bring it right up to date, and we did a whole new take on it. I'll absolutely, the lyrics, they're so good to sort of perform because they're right in your face, and I think that they do evoke a reaction inside of you. And thanks for it's really interesting getting Jonathan's take for me, because how people feel about certain songs. Like for me, I remember doing the video, and the girl that's in it is actually my girlfriend, and we had this whole thing where we wanted to make it really cinematic because it kind of suited the lyrics of the song, and I think we did a cracking job getting such a great video out of that. But I don't really know what else to say about that song. Really, it was quite obvious it was going to be a single very early, and I'm so glad that we managed to get a great video for it to go with it. And I really love going right into it, I really love how the mastering's come out too, because when we finally got the version back, it sounded really punchy, and I think it added so much to the eventual sound of the track. So another great one that's definitely worth checking out.
Great, thanks again for that, and thanks, Jonathan, for your chiming in, and so now I will let over to you, Jonathan. You will end the show here because Sean has done his thing, plugging the show, and so now you have to end the show here. Wrap it up, Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do we end? You could say whatever you want.
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to speak to Sean in regards to his new material, his single, his album, and the Same Difference charity track as well, which I only found out about last night through Sarah. She told me about it, and she wanted me to send it across to her. So quickly on my way home from work tonight, I actually mentioned it to Martin. And you've got to get this in as well because it's a charity track from the band that he used to be in with his sister, and it's for a good cause. So please, could you give it a mention tonight as well? So again, as I say, just huge thank you for your support and for the way that you actually plug the artist's music afterwards. You really do go for it, and you really get involved. And I and Sean, Rosala, everybody at Energize is very grateful and thankful to you for what you do.
Thank you very much for these kind words. So with that, I will end the show and talk to you soon again.
Thank you so much, Martin.